Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be on my Tokyo Marui Hi Capa 5.1 gold match that I got forever ago. Last time I had it, on the channel, it was completely stock. I think it was just a review of the completely stock gun. Nothing was replaced. And as you can see, I've done a lot of things to it. A lot of changes externally and internally. Things have broken on me, but I fixed some things. So it's just kind of like in this whole crazy journey. I just want to, jot down, let you guys know what some of the selling points of this gun are, since I've learned a lot having this gun, and what are its pros and cons in terms of that kind of sphere. And yeah, let's get to it. Only buy this gun, I've learned, only buy this gun if you're looking for this great primary, but you're not afraid to sink a ton of money into it, and you're going to be able to have a little bit of tech knowledge along the way, learn how it works and how to fix it, because it is going to break on you. Stuff is going to break more than other pistols because, it is plastic slide. It isn't really meant for the tolerances in the US. But if you're looking for just, a simple gun that's $100 to $200, you're just looking for something cheap, I wouldn't go for this. If you want the Hi Capa platform, there's, the Armor Works ones. They're super flashy if you're into that kind of thing like I am. And then there's also the KJW ones, a little less flashy, but they perform great according to a lot of people. So if you're looking for just a, simpler, cheaper sidearm that you don't want to have to worry about upgrading and replacing stuff, get those. But if you want a super well-performing, really customizable gun that you're gonna have forever, I'd recommend this. I just want to reiterate, this is expensive. A Hi Capa that's fully customizable and upgraded. Some guys run, it's like $2K that they reach up to, just $2,000 worth of upgrades and parts. I've spent about $610, by far the most expensive gun I have right now. I think it's like double the price of what I've spent on my ARP9 in terms of upgrades, because this is broken down a lot more. I've had to replace a ton more parts. Parts are typically more expensive on this type of stuff because they're so high-end and customizable or whatever. So yeah, expect stuff to break on you. You're gonna have to replace things. I originally got this as just this is a cool sidearm I'll use in a holster or whatever. It's basically turned into I'll switch playing with my ARP9 and then switch playing to this. It's super fun to play with. Pistols, the only thing I don't like about it is the capacity. You're playing with 30, 50 rounds, whatever, unless you get the M4 adapter. But it's super fun, really easy in CQB because you can move it around a lot more. Super satisfying when you get a kill too. So let's get into the upgrades. This is going to be kind of a longer segment just because, I've upgraded so many things, and I'm also going to tell you some of the things I would have done differently in terms of, breaking stuff and all that good information. So the meat and potatoes of this, as you can find almost anywhere on any Reddit or YouTube video or thread or something like that, is you're going to want to buy a metal slide eventually when the plastic one breaks. I think you can install a stronger recoil spring to prevent the plastic slide from breaking, maybe put a couple buffers in there as well. But the only really main way you can guarantee it is by using air duster instead of green gas. And you're not really going to get a good FPS, so I wanted to upgrade it to begin with to make it look cooler. And so with that metal slide that was $100, it was the Airsoft Masterpiece Edge Slide. Really cool cuts, really cool colors. Very glad I got it. I was a little hesitant at first because I didn't really know what it would look like, but in the end, very glad. And it's held up really well too. But, it's anodized purple. It's held up super well except for a couple of nicks on the front, which is going to be pretty typical because of, the pistol's going to run into walls and stuff if you're turning corners really fast. But otherwise than that, it's held up great. Nothing's broken on it. And then with that, you also have to get a recoil spring set, of course. I got a 141 by AIP. In fact, let me take this gun apart so I can show you. So here's the AIP 140% recoil spring. Great product, it's held up great. It also comes with 140% hammer spring, but I would not recommend installing that, and I'll talk about that later. Anyway, I would get this. You can also get the 120% spring if you have a lighter slide. I would stick with the 140% though. I think it feels better. It's a little more snappier. You might go through a little bit more gas, but that's fine. So the original, the last thing in the original stuff I bought for upgrades was a Airsoft Masterpiece blowback nozzle. Usually Airsoft Masterpiece is a really good company. They make really good things. For the exception of this product, I think, you know, I've read a lot of stuff about it. A lot of people have problems with it as well. When I got it, you know, it worked fine for maybe a little while. I don't completely remember. But then it started sticking. You know, I'd have to shove it back in the blowback unit. It started sticking more and more. Eventually, it just completely snapped. I kind of have it along here. Well, first it cracked, and then later I just tore it open to see. But, you know, this is the remainder of what it is. So I don't know if it's just soft plastic or, you know, some measurements were wrong or what. But I have heard some things that is just the one product they are not good at making or something. So I just went with the garter one. The garter one is about $10 more, but it's really good. It's highly renowned. Everybody recommends putting it in their gun. You can also put a like $64 Cal aluminum nozzle. I wouldn't recommend it though because it just destroys your bucking. But some people like it for durability so they don't have to replace their nozzles. But yeah, I recommend getting the garter one. It's reinforced polymer. That's actually what I have on my gun right now. Super good. It's held up for about a year now. So yeah, it is a little more expensive than the Airsoft Masterpiece one, but I would highly recommend it. Certainly get it for your gun. You know, it's lasted me a long time, and that's all there is to say about it. So the next thing, this is kind of where it gets interesting. The next thing I got was a piston head for $5 because I think I tore mine or broke mine or something to do with it. But this was actually a result of messing with my Sear spring. If any of you don't know what the Sear spring is, it's just under the pistol grip, just in the pistol grip under the beaver tail safety. And the Sear spring is very important, and if you mess it up, you're pretty much screwed. You're gonna have to get a new one. It's easy to mess up too. And I was doing this actually when I was installing the hammer spring that came with the AIP 140% spring recoil set. Now I know that there's really no reason to install a hammer spring. All it does is add wear and tear on your gun, and you messing up the Sear spring too. So just don't mess with it. You don't, unless you're having a super highly specialized build, you don't need another hammer spring. And don't mess with the Sear spring or the leaf spring, it's both called. So eventually I found out the problem after, you know, a ton of parts breaking and trial and error and just me getting super frustrated because the gun was about shooting, is just losing a ton of gas for no reason, because the Sear spring is in control of all the disconnector timing. I don't fully understand it, but it serves the function of the whole gas release system. And I was getting really crappy consistency. And I actually found out because at some point I was like, okay, it's gotta be the Sear spring. And I bent it a little, and then the gun started shooting like an actual 1911. And so I just got a new one by Cal, the Trident Sear spring for like $17, and that's fixed the problem since then, and the guns work perfectly. But that was the big issue that caused a lot of other parts to fail, I think, including the piston head. So yeah, just don't mess with your leaf spring or your hammer spring at all, and you'll be good. Alright, so eventually my recoil guide rod, which in case you guys didn't know, this is the thing underneath the recoil spring. Let me see if I can take it out for you. Alright, this is the recoil guide rod, and it just kind of guides the spring along. The one that came with the stock TM1, I think it's just not meant to withhold the high standards of green gas compared to the duster gas they use in Japan. And also, as I said earlier, I did increase the hammer spring, which just adds a ton of unnecessary wear and tear on the gun. Right now, this is kind of stained with silicone oil. I need to wash this off with rubbing alcohol or something. But I got a new one, which is the gold Airsoft Masterpiece one for about $20, I think. I actually used the old piston head that I had as a buffer. You know, it does the same function kind of because it's both made out of rubber. So I use that as for a little buffer right now. I haven't short stroked my pistol because I like the function of the slide catch a lot, but this is where you would short stroke, is you just add buffers on here. And so yeah, $20 I think it was. Airsoft Masterpiece. It's a little thicker than the stock one right here where my fingernails are. This is where it was getting all battered up and it was super deformed and everything. So yeah, highly recommend this one. It's held up. I think it's made out of steel or some high quality metal. So yeah, would recommend. You can also unscrew it. I think it kind of auto adjusts to your length. I think that's the function of it, I'm not really sure. You can also get a more expensive Capa one for about 30 bucks. So the next thing that broke was a huge pain in the butt, because it's kind of unnecessary on why it broke. I'm still not really sure. It could have been the result of just the hammer spring that put wear and tear on the gun. But it was the plastic original outer barrel, and again, this is stained with silicone, so it kind of looks pretty greasy and dirty right now. But this part on the plastic barrel just completely snapped, and it ruined the whole function of the gun. So I had to get a Capa one, which, don't get me wrong, this is a great barrel. I think it's steel, super high quality, super strong. It's never gonna break on you. It also has threads, which is a nice feature. A little cheaper than the Airsoft Masterpiece one as well. I just don't really need a $130 outer barrel. But yeah, I was really disappointed when the plastic barrel broke, because it's so expensive. This is like 90, 100 bucks with tax kind of upgrade, and it just was really unnecessary. But yeah, great barrel, just didn't really want to spend the money on it. I also bought a inner barrel too as well for increased accuracy. Hold on, let me get this out of here. It's the Maple Leaf Crazy Jet barrel. I think it's a 6mm one, 6.1 millimeters, something like that. Anyway, super good. It supposedly adds accuracy by kind of channeling airflow, just kind of as a tunnel. If you can see the little vents right here. Haven't had any problems. A little cheaper than the PDI ones you can get too, so that's a plus. But yeah, super good barrel, would recommend. My bucking began to start slipping. It was a stock bucking, so that's gonna happen to you. It's really soft. It already has like pre-hop too, I think, on it. But you're gonna need to replace it eventually. This isn't it, by the way. This is just my old G&G one. So yeah, I would recommend a Maple Leaf Decepticon or Autobot, whatever you want for that. I got the 70-degree bucking. Now I realize that it's a little too tough. I would go for something like the 60-degree, unless you're running a high FPS build, something, you know, closer to the 350 FPS, because my gun runs it, I think, at like 300, something like that, maybe a little higher. But I'd go for 60 degrees, otherwise you're not going to be able to hop it as much, and that was the problem I was getting, because I don't have an I key on mine. It wasn't really applying any hop. Now that it's summer, it has fixed, because the gun runs at a higher FPS, but during winter times it was kind of a downer, so I do need to get another one, I think. This is kind of another upgrade that I wasn't completely happy about. You know, in hindsight, I would have done things a little differently. The hop-up chamber broke. So this isn't the actual stock hop-up chamber. This is an Airsoft Masterpiece one. But the hop-up chamber broke about right here-ish, where my fingernail is. That just cracked away. This whole thing just fell off. And that is going to happen. It's like cheap pot metal, I think. So most people recommend you get a new hop-up chamber anyway. Just maybe next time I wouldn't have gone with the $80 hop-up chamber. You know, now that I realize it, I was just kind of in a panic buy at the time, because I was just kind of like, I just want this thing to work and stop breaking stuff. But $80 is a little overkill. I probably went, because I think 9-ball, something like that, maybe Maple Leaf, they make a $25, $35 one. Anyway, I could have gotten a cheaper one. This will last me till the end of time. It's all brass and stuff by Airsoft Masterpiece, so it's really good. Just like most of their products, a little on the high side in terms of price. I think this is the last upgrade. We're getting to the last upgrade so far I've done on this gun, and that would be the slide stop, or the slide catch. This is another one that I'm not really happy about. Unfortunately, the stock slide catch that came with the gun, something I really like, and it's an extended one, which I think is far superior just to the, like, you have to adjust your thumb like this to do it instead of just flipping it like that. As you can see, this is just a standard one instead of the extended one. That's something I really liked on the gold match, but unfortunately the stock one was too bulky, so this one slides right through the hop-up chamber, but the stock one didn't. It was too big. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna try to mill the stock one down or Dremel it, or I gotta figure this out still, but I want to use the extended one again. This is a Wii one, and the fitment isn't the best. It works, but it's hard sometimes to take out the slide catch and disassemble the gun, and it was $9, I think. So yeah, that's the last upgrade I've done, you know, since everything. In terms of what I am going to upgrade left, I think my build is almost complete. You know, I don't need a $2,000 Gucci pistol. I do want to get a extended magwell that's a matching purple to this one, just as a cosmetic thing mostly. That's something I've kind of wanted it done since I've gotten this gun just so I have a little more purple on it. Otherwise, it just kind of looks out of place. So that's going to be another $45, I think. And then also I want to obviously get another bucking, so that's just 10. Or I could get an I key, which is 8, and I'll do the same thing. I think I'm just going to go with another bucking though. And yeah, I can't really think of anything else. I may upgrade the trigger at some point if it breaks. You know, I can always go with the lighter blowback unit to give it a faster slide cycle because it's lighter, less weight. They have some cool anodized colors now by the Edge Airsoft Masterpiece BBUs. But you know, I don't know, it's 45 bucks. I think, you know, what I want to do is I may get a TRL-1. I think I have a cheap $30 Matrix flashlight that I use right now. And I think that's it. I wanted to quickly mention, and I thought was really surprising, has to do with magazines. So far, I don't know if I just got like a special thing. This has worked so much better than these. I really do not like the feed on this. It's super hard to speed load. And also, if you don't get the 2-stack perfectly right, it's not gonna feed on you. You're gonna have to nail the 2-stack on that, or the double stack. This will feed on you every time, no matter how you have it, even if you have it in a perfect 2-stack or not. But this won't. You'll have to literally take the magazine out of the gun and then have to adjust it until another BB feeds into there, and it's just a real hassle. So yeah, the feed and the tip on the magazines are a lot better on the WeTech than the Tokyo Marui ones. This is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a longer one because there's so much information on this topic. Please, if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. Because you guys may have questions and I may be able to answer them in terms of this because I've just done so many research on these guns. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't too as well. It really helps me out. It took a while to make. A lot of editing and stuff goes into it. Thank you guys for watching, and that's it. See you guys next time.